Make it a good one.
Yo, 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 it's your man's Big Daddy RuffNeck. You're tuned into the Gary Brugman podcast. Prepare to be entertained.
Hello, America. Hello, Texas. Welcome back to episode 98 of the Gary Brugman podcast. Man, it's been a great week. I got my buddy Big Daddy RuffNeck here with me today. I got a special guest, Jeremy Harrell. It's going to be a great show, so y'all make sure you hold on to something tight because we're going to be bouncing off all kinds of guardrails today. So, let's get to it. What's up, RuffNeck?
Same shit, different day. One day at a time, though.
I hear you. You just got to come out of the freaking woodwork cursing, don't you? Right on the damn show. Just same shit, different day.
You remember when we started and you said, nah, there's no restrictions? And you took the chains off of the RuffNeck's mouth?
I remember that. So we got Jeremy Harrell here with us today. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, what's up, y'all? How you doing? Glad to be here with you.
Thank you for joining us, man. Thank you for joining us. Today's going to be a good show. For those of you that don't know, this is take 2 because I had technical difficulties. But we seem to be rolling right along right now. It's not the first guardrail we've hit on the show. Ain't that right, TJ?
Won't be the last, brother.
Right? Tell me about it, man. So there's a lot going on in the world today. The whole entire world is upside down. We don't know if what they're feeding us on the media is true. We got people going overseas just to help other people. I tell you what, the goodness in the world is coming out. But before we get into all that, because we're going to talk about all of that, I need to dedicate this podcast. So while I was at SHOT Show back in January, I met a guy by the name of Chad Mills. He's a retired Fort Worth police officer, and he was also a Blackwater contractor, which is why I'm wearing the shirt. And we got to talking, and we actually...
That shirt's a nice shirt.
It is, isn't it?
That is a nice shirt. I like the paw print.
And I got to talking with him, and we have a lot of people in common because, I know a lot of Fort Worth cops, and he was like, you know him. And dude, it's like me and this guy knew each other forever, man. And he was just down here in San Antonio last week. I got to hang out with him, and I brought Angry Kev to hang out with him too. So
hey,
so
how's he doing?
He's good. So he was
Still
telling
angry?
me, say again.
Still angry?
Yeah, always. So he was telling me a story. My buddy Chad Mills in Vegas was telling me a story, and we started exchanging war stories, Border Patrol, Fort Worth Police, the whole that. And he was telling me about his partner that got killed in the line of duty up in Fort Worth. Back in his end of watch was September 14th, 2018, and his name was Garrett Hall. Garrett Hall. That was my buddy Chad Mills' best friend, his partner for many years. Badge number 3105. 3105. So I decided that this episode I'm going to dedicate to him, Fort Worth Police Officer Garrett Hall, badge number 3105, and the watch 9/14/2018. Thank you for your service, brother. Thank you for everything, and this podcast is for you. This episode in its entirety is for you. So moving on. Oh yeah. So Garrett, I'm opening up this fresh bottle of Whiskey Pig here, and your old partner Chad Hall would appreciate it because he told me it was good. I got this from my buddy Jeremy Chestnut. It's a Whistle Pig, and this one's for you, Garrett.
What would say? That's a 10-year?
10-year, yes, sir.
All right.
It's a good bottle. Check it out.
Got a little Old Forester single barrel for him.
What? Roger
Old
that.
Forester, yeah.
Mm. Oh, God, that's good. Oh, that's delicious.
It burns so good, doesn't it?
Let me turn it around.
This is a good bottle.
Let me turn it around so I can look at it.
Sometimes I miss drinking.
Well, you need to behave yourself because, you know.
Right. I'm fighting cancer over here.
Exactly. Exactly. So.
And winning.
Yeah, boy.
So we have Jeremy Harrell from Kentucky. And Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Hey man, thanks for having me. I love the content. I love the opportunity to talk to you two tonight. Man, it's I really appreciate what you do and how you tell the truth and keep it real. And I'm just glad to be here in conversation with y'all.
We appreciate you coming on, and you need to deal with this one thing while we're on here, because for some reason when I get on the podcast I tend to stutter. So so live with it. But you're a veteran, an Army veteran, and how long were you in the Army?
Yeah, man. So I was in the Army for 9 years. Served in Iraq, 03, 04 initial invasion. Got medically retired out, and then try to do that whole corporate thing. Just wasn't for me. I just missed serving so much, and I just found a new way to continue to serve. You know, I couldn't play in the game anymore, but I could find new ways to help my brothers and sisters. And also my brothers and sisters in blue, right?
Roger that.
Because they do that job every day. They're on deployment every day, and so you know, we do what we can to help them overcome some struggles, to just be in connection with each other, and to bring out the realities of what it's like to be protectors in this country.
Roger that. That's true, man. It all goes hand in hand. So you said you got medically retired out. What happened to you, bro? If you don't mind.
Yeah, man. So part of that, a lot of that was mental health. You know, just some struggles that I had. You know, working in enemy prisoner of war camps. You know, just really changed who I was. Had a hard time coming home, trying to adjust. And man, I mean, that was, you know, I come home in 04 from Iraq, and I'm still working through some things. You know, that stuff that we experience over there in the same way with law enforcement on the road every day, the stuff you experience, you can be taken out of that environment, but it never really leaves your head. You know what I mean? And so you know, so that's one of the ways I got traumatic brain injury, also, and some physical, you know, some physical injuries with my spinal cord, things like that. But you know,
I know all about that one, brother.
Part of doing business, you know, business for the U.S. But man, I thought it was the worst part of my life, to be honest. And then I recognized that what I do now, my ability to help so many others. I mean, we're serving about 6,000 veterans that we know of in the region, but over the course of the United States, I mean, who knows? I'm much more impactful doing it this way than being a cog in a wheel in the big Army, right? You know, the Army's big. I miss serving, but man, I wouldn't change anything if I knew it would lead me to where I'm able to do this every day now for those who continue to serve. Yeah.
So right now, what's your organization now? What is it exactly that you're doing for veterans? Because we wanted to talk about that on the show.
Yeah. So in 2017, I had this, as I was, you know, overcoming some challenges, I would go to these different places to try to get some help. And I kept hearing veterans talking about how, you know, I don't necessarily miss the job, but I do miss the connection. Right. I do miss the camaraderie. And I just thought, there's no reason we have to do that. That just because we don't wear the uniform doesn't mean we can't get together, right? Exactly. And support one another. So when I got back from Kentucky, I decided to start this organization called Veterans Club. It's a generic name, but I did that on purpose. I wanted it to be a place where people could remember the name and where they would come and we can break bread together. We can be in community together. And it was such a need that we ended up having to become a nonprofit. You know, we started off as a social group. The idea was to get, you know, 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 veterans together every so often to just hang out, just support each other. But man, it turned into a big deal where now, you know, 4 years later, you know, we're nationally recognized for what we do. We have people calling from all over. We're doing documentaries. We're doing stuff on TV because we've figured out that it's the common sense approaches to helping each other versus these big 30,000 feet views, right? So just being together, going to the range, having coffee together, right? We're a big proponent of Black Rifle.
And veterans love going to the range, let me tell you. You know, yeah. And I find that really amazing is, you know, veterans actually, like you said, they suffer from PTSD and all the jars of war, right? But when it comes to unloading, you know, you get down range, it brings out their spirit. It's like that's what it's like. The gunfire is actually like a heartbeat to them, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you get it, man. That's exactly right, because that's one thing we don't ever forget, right? It's like riding a bike. and through the range, because people used to judge me. You know, they'd be like, why would you have an event at a range when some of these vets that you're dealing with have issues with trauma and things like that? And I'm like, because number one, it's a controlled environment. Number two, this is what they're good at. This is going to build confidence, right? This is what is going to kind of remind them of who they are, their identity. And so we do that. And we also have a equine facilitated mentoring program. So we work with horses. That's what we're most known for, is using horses as a way to get over some of these challenges we face. You know, we teach horsemanship skills. We have clinics. But man, we you know, veterans and first responders alike, they like to be hands-on. They like to learn a skill. They like to do things, man. And so our program's different in that way. We're very hands-on. We you know, and we work through a lot of challenges together out there. You know, just peer to peer, just taking care of each other, doing life together is our motto. And you know, there's a lot of good organizations out there, and I appreciate them all. One of the ways we wanted to be different, though, is it doesn't end when you leave the event, right? We're a family, man. Like outside of the IRS is formal, right? But outside of that, we're just a big family, and so we take care of each other 7 days a week. So, man, we have other states. You know, I'm going to get to Texas soon, believe that, because I know there's opportunities big there. But a lot of states are calling and saying, hey, how can we bring something like this to our state? And so it's just been, and really, it's not like I'm a special flower. I'm not like super highly intelligent that I just come up with this great plan. We just stuck to the basics. We just, you know, spent time together and we hung out together.
You know, you were saying about veterans getting together. I'm in San Antonio, as you know, this is Military City. You know,
that's right. Yeah.
Military City. And not only that, we've had all the big veteran companies move here: Warfighter Tobacco, Grunt Style, Black Rifle Coffee. You know, I mean, practically everything's here now. And I've been blessed to be able to go hang out with, you know, the Warfighter Tobacco guys. It's 3 miles down the road from me. So I'm always there for the Freedom Friends podcast and for the Freedom Friends podcast on Monday night, smoking some cigars, drinking some whiskey. And it's our own little group. You know what I mean? And everybody's welcome, but it's just, you know, they got the shop, they work, and they do the podcast, and I'm 3 miles away. So that's the way I get it. And
home base.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's HQ, bro. It's HQ.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, you know, some of the, like, you know, I'm not trying to knock on the VA or whatever. You know, we do a lot with the VA, but they overthink a lot of these things, man. It's just really about getting together. You know, that banter with each other, just hanging out, whether it's drinking, you know, or coffee. You know, like Black Rifles sent me almost $2,000 worth of coffee. They've been showing love to the organizations. Wow. We've almost drank it all, and we haven't had it just a little over a month. I mean, we drank some coffee, but man, just those little things mean a whole lot. And I think that's what some of these bigger organizations have been missing, is they're focused too much on the big picture instead of just being in the trenches with these people, like being in the trenches and just working through things together. And so we've been able to keep that mentality as we've grown. I mean, for example, 4 years, we've had 950 events. I've been to every one of them but 10. I've been to all but 10, right? And we've had 330 equine program sessions. I've been to every one of those. And that's why we've established these relationships. I'm not just a guy with a title. I'm their brother. Right. I'm in the battle with them. And that's what means the most, right? To have that trust.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. And you know, that command leadership, man, you know, that's somebody to look towards, you know? So, yeah. And that's what's important when they got somebody to turn to, you know, whether it be you, whether it be somebody else, it's just somebody that they can turn towards that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, man, I tell them, you know, I don't ever want y'all to get the wrong idea that I have it all figured out. You know what I mean? I'm in this barn with you because I don't. I need y'all. And you know, just as much as you think maybe you need us, like I need you all. We need to do this together. And you know, I'm an NCO at heart, right? So I'm a boots on ground kind of guy anyway, and that's the way I lead. And in fact, there was a full bird colonel. He was retired. He was wanting to be part of our organization early on, and he would get frustrated because he would say, you know, you're running this like a sergeant first class, and I say, good. That's not an insult. That's good. thanks for the compliment, you know, but
Right.
it's all about being where the people are, man. And that's what we do. We just are in a relationship with one another, and we just keep growing it.
Ain't it great when they try to insult you and actually compliment you? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like
I
in your
think I
face.
think
Thank you.
yeah, he wasn't ready for that response. I guess he thought that maybe I'd go, oh, you know, you're right. I'm like, no, that's the best compliment I've ever received. I appreciate that. That's exactly what I was shooting for.
Right.
But he's calmed down a little bit. But I think he's starting to come around now that he sees the success and the impact that we've had. But no, man, I never wanted to get out. I had to get out, and I thought, how else can I be close to that life without actually being in there? And then I recognized that, you know, so many of us are coming home. We're dying more at home than we did across the pond. You know,
Right.
so I thought, you know, we're so focused on this other stuff. We need to be focused on this real pandemic, right? The real pandemic is veteran suicide, right? And so that's I was screaming that the whole time. Our governor in Kentucky was, you know, driving around talking about stay inside and social distance, and I was over here like, yeah, but don't hurt
About our
yourself.
buddies. You know,
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
to do the buddy
I mean,
check.
you're giving people a justifiable reason to isolate, which we know is a killer in our community, right? Isolation is the killer. So I don't know if he liked that. I didn't really ask him. And the good thing is I don't have a boss, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I just kind of went behind him and said, hey, so you know, but stay in contact with us, man. And we still, you know, even during the pandemic, the height of it in 2020, we still had close to 100 events that year in person for veterans. I mean, I told the line I was willing to take whatever came, but I don't want guys dying over something that you may or may not get. And so it was my responsibility to do that. And in fact, Senator Rand Paul, who follows our work closely, because he's also a Kentucky guy, right? He brought us up to Congress and said, if you want to see an organization who stays true to the mission, even during times of COVID, and still are effective, these are the guys. So really cool, man. It's just really just common sense approaches to these things, and it's made all the difference.
You know what, Jeremy? I don't want to interrupt you, but you just spiked something in my memory. And
Yeah,
one of
man.
my brothers, Mikey Fahey, he's a Marine, and he's one of my freedom friends. And he put out a video of the day from a email that they got, and it's just that. It's about veterans suicide, and it's about 4 minutes long. If you don't mind, I actually want to play it. So see if I can get this up here. It's going to be audio only, so those of you watching have to look at our pretty faces while you hear this. So let me see if I get this.
Received an email
All right, here we
yesterday.
go.
What's up, everybody? Mikey with Freedom Friends here. Well,
hear that.
this isn't going to be a comfortable conversation. We received an email yesterday from a gentleman named Tito, and I'm going to read it to you because this is part of a larger conversation about what our show and us as individuals and us as a community is really all about. And I wanted to
Which is kind of what you and I are doing here.
share this
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
you guys, the fans of Freedom Friends, and maybe some of you who maybe need to hear this particular story. Just without further ado, I'm going to get into it. It says, I apologize in advance for the long email, but I'm struggling at the moment and I need to get it all out. I guess at the moment, I'm buddy checking myself because I failed one of my buddies. I'm sorry, my friend. I've known you since we were both young enough to not know our asses from a dirty hole in the middle of a sandbox. We were brothers, co-workers, and friends. I'm sorry I didn't have your six like I should have. I got eyes on the ones you leave behind and will defend them to the best of my ability, as I know you would have if you were still here. This is my promise. And he goes on to say, Mikey, this one goes out to you. My brother Jay may have been your biggest fan. He was an avid listener of the show, as am I. We may have visited bars together that you used to work at the same way women who want to go to some restaurant they saw on Food Network. Even though we never made our way to Texas or to Baltimore, laughing my ass off, he says. We always felt like you were our people. So thank you, first and foremost, for being a voice I listen to twice a week that helps me stay sane. I recently got a new job and lost touch with Jay while acclimating to it. I had to leave working in corrections behind as I could tell it was bad for my mental health. I urged Jay to do the same, and I kept telling myself that once things settled down, I would reach out and have him over for a beer. But sometimes tomorrow was too late. Last night, Jay lost his battle with that spicy nostalgia we know as PTSD. And now the world has one less Ranger, an all-around fucking good dude in it. I want all of you to know that your voices, mediocre as they may be, and they are mediocre, are the only thing that makes some of us out here feel like we aren't as fucked up as we all know we actually are. Please ask everyone, every single Freedom Friend out there, make sure you're doing your buddy checks today, because tomorrow might be one day too late. And he goes on to say, please shed a single tear and raise a beer to Jay. As we're doing that, imagine some scrawny ginger fuck telling you to go eat a dick, because that's just who he was. Freedom the fuck on, everyone. Your listener friend and someone who tries to be a fucking good dude. And we know you do, Tito. Now that's a difficult situation that a lot of us in the community have had to deal with. Losing a friend, a brother, someone close to us, someone we served with, someone we worked with. And you don't have to be a veteran to have this kind of pain. This is a universal issue throughout the patriotic and veteran community. We talk about all the time how push-ups don't save lives, and we're all aware that there's a problem. The biggest part is, how do we fix it? And what we like to preach here on the show between myself, John, Scott, and Jazz, and Dave when he's here, stop bearding, is that buddy check system. You know, instead of doing 22 push-ups, send 22 text messages. Take 22 minutes out of your day to call somebody. That alone could save a life. Collectively, as a show, we're feeling this one. You know, one is too many. So I encourage all of you out there, whether you're a listener of the show, or someone who just found us, or someone who just happens to see this pop up on their feed, call your friends, especially your strong ones. Not all of them are always okay. You know, the guys that you think, and girls, the guys and gals that you think are just the rock, the strong ones. Sometimes they're struggling and they're trying to stay strong for everybody else. So they don't get a chance to actually say, I need help. And all of us do. So Jay, I'll raise one up to you. Tito, thank you very much. Smoke on, drink on. God damn it. Freedom the fuck on. Take care. What's up, everybody?
So I wanted to play that for you because I got that this morning, and ironically, we scheduled this podcast today. So I think it works aside because, you know, I agree with him. Doing push-ups for the cause. Hey, you know what? Fantastic, you know, but honestly, I'm all push-upped out, you know, and I reached out to a bunch of my buddies today after I saw this, and I sent it to RuffNeck down there, and I sent it to everybody else. Just, you know, reach out, and that's what you and Veterans Club are there for.
Yeah, man. You know that he made a man. I love to hear it, and I hope I keep hearing it more. I love what he said. But you know, like push-ups aren't going to do it.
Right.
T-shirts aren't really going to do it. Right. Like I was in a meeting one time, and this with it was a bunch of organizations together, and I was still kind of young and new, and so I was kind of the small guy at the time. And this bigger organization says, you know, we need $1 million to raise awareness for veteran suicide. And I thought, you need I thought, and then I said,
huge number.
I said, you need $1 million to advertise a problem.
Right.
Like we know the problem. We need $1 million to prevent it.
Exactly.
You know,
Right.
They didn't like that, right? Because
they don't.
I was like, everybody knows that that's a problem. Like, take the $1 million and create programs, opportunities, bring in experts to help try to mitigate it.
Right.
You know, I mean, so I'm not a big awareness guy. And before he got in trouble, I did a show with Chris Cuomo, right? Chris Cuomo primetime before he did what he did, or at least got caught.
And that concludes this episode.
He's probably been doing it forever. But anyway, nonetheless, man, I told him, I said, you know, awareness without a solution is just advertising a problem. And I believe that, man. We have to be actionable in how we overcome these things. And you don't need, like he said, you don't have to be a psychologist, and you don't have to be, you know, somebody with an alphabet after your name. You just have to be a dude that cares. You just have to be a brother who wants to call. Like I always say, our campaign is who's your one. Like I'll say, who's your one that you call and check on. And if everybody has their one, then we're all covered. So no, I really liked what he said, man. That was really good. It was powerful. And it's the reality. We got to do more than just say, hey, veteran suicide is a certain number, and let's do push-ups for it. We have to really go out and do some work, So that's what we try to do. We try to prevent it, not just react to it, right? So so I like what he said.
It's so hard to reach out, though. Speaking from experience, that I resisted to reaching out, for so long until things were just a big shit show. But just that reaching out is a huge step.
And I've been there. I mean, you remember last year I told you, or 2 years ago, I forgot when it was. I'm on a podcast talking about veteran suicide, and a week later I'm sitting in the corner crying, contemplating writing a note. you know?
Yeah.
And
That's how quick it happens.
Yeah. But one thing that helped me is, I'm a big God guy. I'm a big Christian guy. And God sent me a text,
Yeah.
Literally my phone went off and I looked at my phone and it was my Bible app and it says, put your trust in the Lord and all your problems, your Proverbs 5:3-8. And I was like, you're sending me a text? Seriously? So I gathered up my shit, put my big boy panties on, took a shower, and went about my day. I'm lucky I was able to overcome that situation. But, just not recently, I was talking to RuffNeck, and I'm like, last year, I got my pardon in December of 20, and life was good. I was taking care of my mom. I was her caretaker. She had some bladder cancer. And then I got hit with COVID, bro. I got trached. I almost died. I spent 53 days in a hospital. I was on a vent for 17 days, and my mom passed away while I was on the vent. And when I came out running. I got to get better, and I wanted to keep my mind off of everything that had just happened. And, I was out there shooting and doing events and going places. And I was telling RuffNeck just recently, it's all starting to hit me, man. My mom died, and I've been pretty much down in the dumps, and I've got great opportunities. I'm a licensed bodyguard. I got people wanting me to go to their real estate team. I just landed a 70+ grand a year job that I just started, but I didn't want to do any of it. I just didn't. I didn't have the hustle. And I was telling TJ, I'm like, he's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to do shit. This working for a living is some hoe shit. Working for a living is some hoe shit. I don't want to do it. I'm one traffic jam and one bad day away from selling pictures of my feet on the internet.
No, man. I think
I reached out.
I think you made a good point, because it isn't what we have or don't have that makes the difference. Some people think that if you have everything that you want, then you should be happy, and you should never feel that way. We look at people like Robin Williams and folks like that who had everything they ever could want it, but once you have all that you can get, then what else is going to fill that hole, right? And so, Gary, I think you nailed it, man, because it wasn't until I got right with God that I recognized where the real healing come from.
Right.
Everything else was short term.
Exactly.
And I would always find myself back in the same hole again. It wasn't until I said, you know what, I'm going to trust you because you are perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm a sinful dude that deserves death. I'm going to trust you. And man, when I started, it didn't make it easier. Like, I want to make that clear to everybody. It didn't make life easier, but I understood it more. And I understood that, this ain't about me. This life isn't about us. And so we talk about that in our programs because I tell them, and sometimes there's an issue with Christianity and the veteran community or law enforcement community. Because some people are like, well, where was God when all this happened, right? Where was God when I lost my buddy?
Right, and also like in times of war, where's God when all this was happening?
Yeah.
We're in the battlefield.
Yeah, and so I say, hey, God told us there will be sin, right? But then there's God, and so we don't live for this world. But man, I think you're right on the money about that. It's about at any moment. You can get feeling like that. I was in some real bad pain. I just had to go through some procedures, and pain will send you there fast, right? Like chronic pain. And I've never had like chronic pain, but for about 5 months, I had chronic pain, severe pain every day. And man, I was just really going, I can end this pain, like I can end this pain in a heartbeat. But man, I think with suicide, it just really transfers that pain to those that we leave behind. But no, man, it's definitely something that we have to always keep on the forefront until it's not there anymore. right? And so, yeah, I mean, it's a misnomer that only when you're down and out, only when you don't have anything or you lose a job or something bad in your life happens, then you decide to start contemplating suicide. But I've been really happy and still wanted to do that at times.
Right.
So that's why I know it's bigger than just circumstance, right?
And yeah, and that's exactly how it rolls, man. It's exactly what you said. There's a focus point that you have to keep pushing towards in every aspect of life, you know, and like me, there's so many times I want to call it quits, and I've talked to RuffNeck about it. I'm good with God. I've done everything I've ever wanted to do in my life, even if it was for a little while, you know, even if it was for a short time. I mean, I toured the world with rock bands, you know. I was a little street hoodlum, so I got to do all the wrong things for a while, you know. I joined the military. I've saved lives. I've freaking been to war, been to the front lines, been a border patrol agent, been in gunfights. I've raced cars, snowmobiles, jet skis, boats. You know, I mean, I've done. I mean, even being a federal agent, even if it was for a short time, I was a federal agent. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm straight with God, and when His time comes for me, then I'm ready. But sometimes I really want to accelerate. I'm like, you know what? I'm just fucking done. You know.
Yeah.
And it's not that I want to. It's just like I'm good. You know, I'm good.
Yeah.
And it's scary to think how many people think like that but act upon it. You know.
Yeah.
Act upon it. See, because my thing here is RuffNeck's already threatened my ass that if I do anything stupid that he's gonna come at me. So many people said they will dig my ass up.
Yeah.
You know? But you know, I have a focus point, you know. I have a focus point, but a lot of guys just don't have that, and that's what we find in each other, you know. And I always say I don't have any like really close family. I got family. I got all my bros and all that, but I got a cousin in Florida. I got some cousins in Puerto Rico, but my mom passed away. My son don't talk to me, and I'm literally all alone, you know.
Yeah.
But I know that I've got people out there that care about me. Freaking guys from Warfighter Tobacco, Coffee Cat, you know, just, you know, the guys from BRCC. They're all close friends of mine, and you know, other people that I'm failing to mention because the list is just too damn long. You know,
your list. Oh yeah.
And I know that. I know I have somewhere to turn, but some people just don't feel it that way, which is why we need organizations like yours, you know?
Yeah, man. And so one of the, you know, sometimes people will call and they'll say, Jeremy, you know, what's the formula to what you're doing? I'm like, number one, God, right? He's in control. But all we do is I want veterans and first responders, right? To not know what they want to do on a Tuesday night because there's so many things to do. We created so many things to do that they don't, because we keep people busy, right? Like there's a lot of organizations that'll have one event and then it's like, okay, we'll see you next time we do this next year. But like you may come to our farm on Saturday, learn how to work horses in a round pen, and then on Tuesday you might be at the range, and then on Thursday, you know, you might be at a ball game. And so when we create this scenario, people become closer. Right. And for like me, like I don't have a lot of close family anymore either. And family doesn't have to be blood, like we know that. So, you know, all we've done really is try to create that connection to where people have people, whether it's their immediate family, which we hope for, or whether it's just like what we're talking about, our brothers who are close to us. And we create that opportunity for them so they never feel alone. And then if they are alone, they got 1,000 numbers. They got a big list like you where they can call, you know, so many people. And even if it's just a dude that says, don't be stupid.
Right.
That's super effective. Don't be stupid and kill yourself, right? That is super effective. You don't have to have a PhD. And that's what I try to explain to some of these people. Sometimes the PhDs don't like that because they've went to school and they've done their chores and they've paid all this money.
Job.
Yeah. I'm sorry you paid all that money. It's still cool what you did, but you guys aren't the only ones who know how to help somebody, right? So we're all responsible to help somebody, in my opinion, and I think we're all capable to do it.
And we've been sitting here
talking show up.
And we've been sitting here talking about how we are, you know, veterans, and, you know, and we've talked about, you know, the battlefield and everything, but you go beyond that, don't you? You go to first responders as well.
Yeah, man. You know, especially, you know, the region I'm in. So I live near Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm sure you all know the whole story with Breonna Taylor. And it's been a mess here, man, for the last couple of years. And I have so there's a lot of folks in our organization who are members who are also law enforcement officers, and not just law enforcement, but fire, EMS too, but who have been working around the clock with these protests and, you know, trying to be disciplined while people are spitting on you and throwing things at you. And what I recognized is, you know, as military folks, we deploy. You know, I spent 16 months in Iraq. I come home, and it sucked. But you know, first responders deploy every day,
Right.
and there isn't as many programs out there specifically for them. Now, we've always been like, hey, come on, man, we love you, but we officially made that announcement this year because, man, I'm just so thankful that we have people out there that carries the torch, people out there that are ready to do what they need to do for people they don't know. And so we're all a big family. You know, they do it they deploy in the community, we deploy across the pond and other places, but we all have the same heart to serve and to protect and to give. And so we just bring it all together. And it's been really good to watch even the first responders who haven't served, to watch them feel so much at home with vets and vice versa. We have so much more in common than we think, you know, so it's been really, really cool to watch.
Yeah, because we always make fun of the hose draggers for some reason, because, you know, that's what they're there for. But they see shit all the time. They see a lot more shit than most people see in a lifetime, you know, but they still drag hoses. But so do you have chapters across the US, or is it just yours in Kentucky, or how's that work? How does somebody get hold of you? How does somebody get hold of Veterans Club if they need help?
Yeah, so we are getting ready to start a chapter in Charleston, South Carolina. Actually, we're going to start one of our equine facilities down there. Our goal is to be in every state. We're talking with Georgia right now as well, but they can get a hold of us, our website, veteransclubinc.org, and it's so interactive. We spend a ton of money. Spend a ton of money making that.
That's why I'm going like that. It'll be right here.
Okay. Yeah, so veteransclubinc.org, it's interactive. All of our events, everything you need to know about us is on that website. And we don't just help folks in Kentucky. It's important to know that we help folks around the country. We just happen to we got to be based somewhere, right? So we're based here for now. We are designing chapters. We are bringing partners. We have over 34 partners and different agencies that help us, but they can also get a hold of us on social media, right? They can send us an email at info@veteransclubinc.org. And man, I would love for anybody who needs anything. And if we can't do it, we know people who can, and that's important too. We're going to figure it out together. So give us a call, look us up, send us an email, get connected with us. It doesn't matter whether you're in California or you're in Louisiana. We're here for you. So,
and if you're listening to the podcast and for some reason you can't find them, get hold of me. I'll put you in touch with Jeremy.
Appreciate that.
So you know, we've also got this type of veteran that you know that suffers from, you know, the battlefield, but there's this other type of veteran that just can't help it and just wants to go back. You know, just wants to go back. You know, like we were talking earlier about Chad going back to Ukraine, and Tim Kennedy and all these other veteran organizations that just going back to help on the battlefield in Ukraine and help with, you know, rescuing people in Afghanistan. And the things that they do is just amazing as well.
Yeah, you know, when everything was, you know, what I consider the worst exit that could have ever possibly happened out of Afghanistan happened. You know, the State Department, they were froze, paralyzed. They wouldn't do anything. You know, we had, and it's not just the Americans that we left behind, but you have allies that live that are from Afghanistan, who knew once they decided to work with us that they had a target on their back, right? But they still did it. And then all of a sudden they get left behind. And so I know, you know, Chad and those guys.
And doxed.
Yeah.
And doxed.
Yeah. Yeah, and doxed. And so they wanted to go get them. And, you know, it was a perfect example of how we sometimes can't wait for the government. We've never been able to depend on them really, but to wait for the government to act. And so these guys decided they was going to use all these skills that the government paid a ton of money to teach them, and they were going to get together and they were going to go make it happen. And they did. There was thousands and thousands of people they brought home from Afghanistan. And then, you know, that come to pass. And there's probably still, I think there's still 100 or so folks over there that need to come that we just know about, right? There's unofficial numbers, but then Ukraine pops off and you know, that the same thing, right? So America's going, hey, we want you to be part of NATO. We don't want you to be a part of Russia. And Ukraine's going, okay. So they say, no, Russia. And then all of a sudden Russia comes over and we're like, oh, we can't do nothing. You know what I mean? We just basically ghosted them. And, and so one of the biggest needs that they had was medical, right? That's one of the biggest issues that they're having over there. So, you know, Save Our Allies, they get together, they go over there and they raise a bunch of money. They go boots on ground for over a month and they provide, you know, medical treatment and supplies for the folks that need it over there. But man, you know, Putin's a madman. We know that, right? Like we know he's a madman, and I know that we're waiting. I know that our president has said if one boot gets over in NATO area, that it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. But
that's it.
We should already be doing a little bit more, in my opinion. And it doesn't have to be boots on ground with our military, but send some planes over, right? Send some attack helicopters. And that's all they. Yeah, and that's all they said they wanted, right? They just said, we don't really want people to help us fight. We just want the supplies to fight.
Right. Exactly.
We're okay with fighting, and but what I think is really cool, man, I think it's iconic. I don't think it'll ever be forgotten is when Zelensky said, "I don't need a ride."
I know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need some ammo.
They asked him to they gave him the option to evacuate. Yeah, that was ballsy.
Yeah. And you know what, dude? Honestly, personally, you know, I think Zelensky's doing a great job, you know, whatnot. But overall, I say fuck the Ukraine government too, because they're in bed with freaking the Biden crime family. Oh yeah. You know, but in this time that's happening now, they are standing up. You know, forget their business deals, their raunchy business deals and all this shit. Every government's corrupt, and we know that. You know, but including ours. Yeah. But what they're doing now, you know, fighting for the country. I mean, the fact that he hasn't ran and they haven't killed him yet is fucking amazing. You know. Yeah. And well, you know, I was talking it over with my buddy Mikey, Hooligan Mikey, about the other day. I said, dude, what do you think that would happen if it were here? He goes, well, first of all, they wouldn't even come to Texas. You know, they wouldn't even come to Texas. And the fact came up that the United States, we are like the biggest ununiformed army in the fucking world. You know,
amen.
Absolutely. If you've got 80-year-olds and everybody from 14 to 80 years old fighting for their country over their civilians that have never touched Parliament, that have never touched a gun. You know, you imagine giving Chuck Schumer a freaking M4 and being like, you know, the fucking idiot, you know, but the fact remains that here in the United States, we have so many people because of the Second Amendment that pack firearms. And the fact remains that those people are kicking Russia's ass and they had to be taught how to use an AK-47. You know how Americans train, us 2A people, you know how we train. We train more than cops. We train more. Technically, we train more than the regular military, you know, excluding forces and SEALs, you know, excluding SOF. But, you know, we train on a regular basis just because we enjoy it. And can you imagine freaking Russia trying to do that here, or Mexico or Canada or some other country trying to invade the United States? It just wouldn't happen. I mean,
I don't think Russia was prepared for the upgrade they got in weapons when they got the javelins.
By upgrade, do you mean the fucking ass kicking that they got? They were ass kicking.
But just think of the shoulder fire stuff that they got. You know what I mean? They got billions and billions of dollars of high technology stuff that Russia wasn't prepared for.
Yeah. Well, my grandpa would always say it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog, right? And I think Russia's being humbled right now, but it's the same reason why Japan didn't invade, and they did what they did at Pearl Harbor, because they knew that there were 700 some million guns in this country.
Yep.
And
Even
we use them. Yeah, even back then.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I don't worry that that'll ever be the case. I think if something like that ever come across our border, it would probably be somewhere in the nuclear scenario, because but man, you're right. People say, well, Jeremy, why are you so pro Ukraine? Like they have a corrupt government. I said, have you ever heard of the Biden administration? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Like,
So Jeremy, check this out. So we came up with this theory, right? This is how it's going to work, right? If Russia were to attack, they probably come from the West Coast, right? So they'd invade California, right? So that we don't think they get San Diego, because you got SEALs, Marines, Coronado, all that shit, right? And then in LA, you got the Bloods, the Grape Street Crips, and all them motherfuckers, right? That they take care of their own, right? But everything north of that, other than
it'll be San Francisco,
right? other than San Francisco with the Hells Angels, because that's all they got. That's all they got. So we figured that we'll let them invade California for 2 weeks, clear out all the fucking garbage. Then we'd be like, don't worry, Texas is coming. Then
They're on the way.
Then we go up and set up a Texas flag, and all of a sudden, Texas has a beach.
Yeah.
Texas has a beach.
Dude, that's not a beach. Stop it.
Yeah, they're just going to bypass Texas. They don't want them problems.
The Gulf of Mexico in Texas is not the Gulf of Mexico in Florida. Let me tell you that.
Okay.
Man, one thing I learned about Texas is there's more Texas flags flying than American flags, I believe. That's one of the proudest states I've ever been to. Everybody's truck has a flag, and if it don't, then you're probably not from there. You know what I mean? So,
You just moved.
Right.
I mean, people get Texas tattoos and shit. I mean, when was the last time you saw somebody with a tattoo in New Jersey? I mean,
not unless they lost a bet.
New Jersey looks like a penis to begin with, but
Wait a second. Hold on.
Uh-oh. What we got?
He's got
a map of Long Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's a flid. So, and exactly the same, my son's a flid too. You know what a flid is, Jeremy?
I do not. What is it?
Tell him what a flid is there, RuffNeck.
A fucking Long Island douchebag.
Hey, look it up in Urban Dictionary. It's there.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah, us in the city called Long Island people flids because they were fucking Long Island douchebags. But yeah, man, it's just it's the world's upside down, bro. And I know we just made light of a bunch of stuff because we had to make some people laugh, but veteran suicide, first responder suicide is a real thing, man. And we do what we can to prevent it. We do what we can to prevent it. Me and RuffNeck been there for each other several times.
Amen. Amen.
As a matter of fact, when we don't hear from each other, it's always like, dude, you okay? Because I know how you think.
And it's that 3-word text.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, no, man, it's good, man. I call it, you got a cornerman, right? The world is a battleground, right? Not a playground. And
Exactly.
You're in the fight. You're in a fight. You got to have cornermen on your corner to give you some advice to keep you straight. And so we all need them, man. And that's one thing that really focus on. I hope that as we continue to grow and we get connected into more opportunity to build a bigger platform. I know we're currently filming. We just filmed a teaser trailer for a documentary to be on Netflix and Amazon about what we do. We did a History Channel thing on Veterans Day, but we just need to get the message out there. And any other organization who has heard this, or anybody part of an organization who hears this and says, man, we need to do that where I'm at, I need them to contact me. We want to collaborate with as many people as possible. There's no egos here. Like, I don't want to be the only guy doing things. Like, let's collaborate, and I will help them in any way I can. Because, man, if we can take care of each other, I think take the whole military, law enforcement out of it, just as people. If we would just take care of each other, the second command, love our neighbor, all this stuff goes away.
Right.
I mean, we just don't have it. None of it. So And it's very easy, but we have all these egos that we have to deal with, and pride, and we have hurts, we have pain, we have trauma, we have. But we need to be able to talk about our trauma more. You know, the military tells you, suck it up, drive on, right? Drink water, shut up. You know, that serves us in combat. That's probably saved my life many a times. But if you look at the percentage of time you're in a combat environment, whether it's on the streets or in the desert, it's very small in comparison to when you're not, and it doesn't serve us when we're not. So then we have this chip, and then these people try to help us. We push them away because it's like, I'm good, I don't need nothing, I stand on my own 2 feet, and knowing we're breaking inside. And so then they're like, okay, well, Jeremy don't need anything. So then you're alone again. So we just got to do better about just being real and say, man, you know, I'm hurting today. You know, there's nothing.
It's the
there's
hardest
nothing
thing
weak
to
about
do.
that. Yeah, because it's looked at as weakness. But man, I think that's harder than trying to be tough. Man, it's hard. It's hard to say I'm sad, right? It's hard for a dude to go, man, I'm sad. I want to cry, right? Like,
especially when you're dealing with alpha males, Jeremy.
Yeah,
when you're dealing with alpha males from the military, man, you know, it's hard. It's hard for an alpha male to come out and be like, yeah, man, today's a rainy day. I don't think things are going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I've been there, you know, and before I went to prison, I was in the Coast Guard for 9 years, did a lot of law enforcement, drug enforcement, search and rescue. And then I was a Border Patrol agent, and forget about it, man. It was apprehension zone at the time. And then when I found myself literally facing prison time for doing my job, you know, I hung out. My circle was law enforcement, and they all told me, they're like, dude, you know, we'll still be here when you get out. I'm still going to be patrolling these streets. He's still going to be on bike patrol. You know, he's still going to be a detective.
Right.
And we're all going to be here when you get back, you know, and they were, and they were, you know, and it's just, you know, that's what the circle is. But the hard part is to get people to reach out when they need it, because a lot of times they don't think they need it, and it just sneaks up on them. And then next thing you know, forget about it. You know, that's,
you're going to a funeral.
Too late. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Man, it's one of the best things that I think we do in whether it's law enforcement or military. The best thing that we do is, I think we set the example on how to really take care of each other. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you come from. You get thrown in this room with 60 people from all over the world. You got 9 weeks to figure it out, to become a team. And then it doesn't even matter. None of that even matters anymore, man. And I think we can teach a lot of these other organizations and agencies out in the world how to do that. You know, why are these people not asking the military and law enforcement about, you know, some of the diversity and things that they're struggling to figure out? Here's what you do: you throw 60 people from all different walks of life in a room for 9 weeks and let them figure it out.
Yep,
you know?
that's it.
But the other part of that is, I have yet to be able to find the same authentic relationships with someone outside of our community that I have with the folks in our community. You just can't find it anymore. Everything's so conditional. It's all about opportunistic opportunities. It's all about, what can you do for me today? So what's so special about us, man, is that we have these level of bonds that can't be replicated anywhere. And that's a blessing. I believe it.
I agree.
I agree with you 100%, brother. But you know what, Jeremy? Guess what time it is? We're just about out of time.
Hey, can we talk about one more thing?
Yeah, well, actually, we can. We got a little bit of time, because I knew you were gonna do that. So go ahead, talk.
I want to talk about Will Smith smacking the shit out of Chris Rock.
Well,
that shit was hilarious.
Talking about cornerman, you think Chris Rock could have used a cornerman at that moment?
Yeah.
And a 45. Yeah.
And a 45. Dude, I mean, go ahead. Since you brought it up, we're gonna have to. So go ahead.
So the big thing across the internet is some people saying it was fake, some people saying it was authentic.
Okay.
I think it was authentic. I think he went up there, you know, saw her face, went up there and slapped the taste out of his mouth.
and I agree. You know, the only reason I think it might have been authentic is because of the reaction of Chris Rock. Because he
held back.
He was perturbed, bro. He lucky he held back. Will Smith fucked his ass up. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Will Smith was wrong, but in a fight, Will Smith would freaking rock his ass is what he do.
Yeah, but Chris Rock could have just knocked him right out of whatever.
No, it would be,
With a joke about his marriage. With a joke about his marriage. You know, oh, you're gonna come up here and slap me for a joke, but you know, you could have a relationship with your wife and bang your wife in the same house you're living in.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he could have said you should be mad at this guy and point to the other guy.
The guy at the table.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who you should have smacked. But no, man, I think, you know, I understand like wanting to defend your wife, man, and I'm, you know, I'm married and I would defend my wife. But you know, one thing that I've learned is you can't be so sensitive to what someone says, man, because we can't control that. Now, if you physically try to hurt my wife, then I think
no.
Right. But Jeremy, but what he said wasn't that bad.
I mean, who cares what this guy says, right? Like,
right, but
at the end of the day,
right.
yeah.
He just roasted another couple right before that. I
Right.
mean, you know,
He's a comedian. That's what he
didn't
does.
He didn't say anything sexual.
Oh, is he? I thought he was a boxer.
He didn't say anything sexual. He didn't say anything derogative. He didn't say anything bad. He was like, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. The fuck's wrong with that? She has a bald head. I mean, you know, I don't think he was making fun of her medical condition or anything. I mean, he says he didn't know, but still, I mean, what?
There's no maliciousness behind that.
People before
and
them,
G.I. Jane was
were making fun of their marriage.
It was a badass
and
movie.
G.I. Jane was a badass. That's a compliment.
No shit. No shit. You know,
maybe he should have called her Grace Jones.
Oh yeah, right. That would have been win over, dude. But nothing. But I think what and if it was stage, that's some whole shit too. Because you know what, it just made Will Smith bad. You know.
Yeah.
So either which way, Will Smith sucks to me now. You know, and I liked Will Smith. I thought he was a freaking he's definitely an amazing actor. He's been around for so long. He's been a lifestyle now, you know, but that's what happens with these elite. They get into this thing and it's like, you know, my shit don't stink, you know?
Yeah. You know, back in the day, I would have been praising him. I would have been like, that's what I'm talking about. Should have hit him hard.
You know, not for nothing. Had he said something sexual or something really derogatory, that's a whole different story. You know, I'd have gone up there and slapped him too, but for what he said, I don't think he did anything wrong. So I think right now he's an asshole and his wife's still a hoe. So
now the reason why I believe that it wasn't staged and it's real.
So come back me, Will Smith. I'd like to see that.
I'd like to see that too. Is when his lip was quivering and he was screaming, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." Like he emphasized it, you know, from the hood, Gary. When you hear brother talking like that, you're like, oh, somebody's getting fucked up.
And one of my other thoughts was how long? I mean, at what point during that long walk up there did Chris Rock decide that he wasn't going to try to get in a defensive position?
Right.
Like how close you going to let him get to you before you decide to try to prepare yourself?
But
I wasn't prepared for that.
But you got to Will Smith. He's an action hero, right?
Yeah.
Chris Rock, he's a fucking
crackhead.
Junkie. He's a junkie in New Jack City.
Yep.
But
nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, either which way. I mean, it's just. But I do have to say one thing: 2 memes that made me fucking laugh out loud. All right.
Yeah.
Was the whole smacking meme, right? When it said Jesse Smollett and Jesse Smollett. And then the other one was the Batman and Robin one. You know, the Batman and Robin one where it had their faces on it. Dude, that was I lost my shit on that one, man.
I think the funniest one that I found that takes the cake is when they posted up. It said, everybody just gotta leave Jada alone, and it was a picture of Wesley Snipes.
I saw that, man. I saw that.
I don't know what kind of suit he was wearing or whatever. I had to do a double take. I'm like, is that her?
That's funny shit right there. But dude, you know what time it is, right? Jeremy, thank you. But
yeah, absolutely, man.
Oh, no. Well, that concludes this episode of the Gary Brugman podcast. Please like and subscribe on social media. I'm your man's Big Daddy RuffNeck saying stay frosty and always watch your six.
I just want to thank you for spending another hour with me, TJ, my brother, Jeremy Harrell. Don't forget, check it out. It's veteransclubinc.org. veteransclubinc.org. That's where you can find them. If you need help, reach out. Don't waste time. Everybody's here for you. We all love you. I don't even know you, and I love you. So until next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, be savage. God bless y'all. God bless Texas, and God bless America. Peace.